The OECD cuts next year's GDP growth outlook for most G20 countries. The concerning forecast comes in the wake of the prolonged Ukraine war. Shin Se-byuck helps us look beyond the digits.
The OECD draws another grim picture for the world economy. In its Interim Economic Outlook, titled Paying the Price of War on Monday, the OECD expects the global economy to grow 2.2% next year, down 0.6 percentage points compared to the previous projection made in June. In fact, the outlook for nearly all nations in the G20 economies was cut, except for Turkiye, Indonesia and Britain. The Paris-based organization says the world economy has lost momentum in the wake of the Ukraine war, saying the conflict aggravated inflationary pressure when the cost of living was already rising quickly. The OECD also points out that the COVID-19 pandemic and recent monetary tightening by major countries as factors that put additional upward pressure on inflation worldwide. In particular, it says the soaring prices of energy and food caused by the war are likely to slow the global economic recovery throughout next year. Countries that are hit hardest by the war-driven energy crisis, such as those in the euro area and the U.S., are among those seeing the sharpest drops. The OECD slashes the euro area's economic outlook for next year to 0.3%, that's down 1.3 percentage points from the previous forecast. The U.S. is expected to see a 0.5% growth, that's also down from the June estimate of 1.2%. Meanwhile, it projects headline inflation to ease from 8.2% this year to a little over 6.5% in 2023 in the G20 economies. This came as it expects headline inflation to peak in the current quarter in most major economies before it declines in the upcoming quarter and throughout 2023. However, it added next year's annual inflation will remain well above central bank targets in most countries. As for projections for South Korea, the figures were the same as the OECD's biannual report released last week. It says the South Korean economy will grow 2.8% this year and 2.2% the following year. As for the inflation outlook, 5.2% for 2022 and 3.9% for 2023. Last week, it said uncertainties surrounding the world have clouded the South Korean economy. Shin Se-byuck, Arirang News.